I want all of you guys to do me a wee favour. A little experiment. It's a pretty overdone experiment, but I think it'll be useful for getting you into a certain headspace for this video. I want you all to close your eyes. Just close your eyes and keep them closed until I tell you to open them back up. Eyes closed? Okay. Now I want you to listen to this little bit of a song and concentrate on the emotions that it makes you feel. How does the timbre of the instrumentation make you feel? Listen close. Okay, you can open your eyes now. That was the intro to Matsutake, produced by Amos Roddy for the 2022 video game Citizen Sleeper, and as of right now, it is my favourite piece of video game music. Citizen Sleeper is the second game by solo indie dev studio Jump Over the Age. It's something of a cross between an RPG, a visual novel, and a dice game, and it's really good. I don't think it's a game that everyone would like though. It has a lot of interesting mechanics and a few different meters that you need to keep track of, but after a certain point in the game, the workarounds for all of your obstacles become so common that they're entirely negligible. For someone like me, this wasn't really an issue because I was so invested in the story and characters that I wasn't really bothered about the gameplay kind of falling off. But for others that couldn't really get into the story, there's not really any reason to continue after that point in the game, unfortunately. Maybe this is an issue that could be addressed in the upcoming sequel. So what is Citizen Sleeper even about? What kind of story is Citizen Sleeper thematically? Well, if I had to sum it up, it's like this tweet. And if anyone knows me, they know I love my commie bullshit. Okay, that's a bit of an oversimplification of the game. On the surface, it's the story of a sleeper, which are androids that have had the mind of a human being uploaded into them, waking up on a space station called the Eye. These androids are owned by corporations and are put to work for as long as they operate. Some manage to escape, but there's a sort of built-in failsafe for when this occurs. Planned obsolescence. Sleepers degrade over time unless they prevent that process with a steady supply of a certain rare drug. The game does do its fair share of critiquing capitalism and exploring the basics of communism, but for the most part it's a beautiful and sad story about a group of people trying to find hope and peace in a universe where capitalism has abandoned them. And Amos Roddy's original soundtrack for the game was perfect for it. It's all reverberated synth leads and bass, piano and percussion. On tracks like Signal Haze you get these digital driving drums. On Yesterday's Sky there's this brushed snare that sounds straight out of a slow jazz waltz, but it's up against this plodding synth and these ethereal pads. On Cycles there's little stabs of percussive noise, but they sound like bouncy balls being dropped onto a muted piano. It's fascinating. A Window to the Sun features this distant looping melody that sounds like a voice trying to bubble up from the water. Roddy throws so much shit, so many interesting and charming details into these songs, and they all work. They reinforce this idea that yes, the universe is a cold place, but it holds so much life and wonder beneath its surface if you're willing to look, or in this case listen. I don't quite know if I'm willing to call this my favourite soundtrack album to a game ever, but I would be lying if I said it wasn't up there. It's Matsutake though that resonates with me the most. I have played through this game more than once, at least twice, and I still could not tell you at what exact moment during its story that Matsutake plays. I don't even know if it plays at a specific moment or if it just randomly plays throughout the course of stuff, but this song encapsulates so much of what I love about Citizen Sleeper. Its intro feels like such a warm hug against a cruel world, like living to see a sunrise after an entire night running from the shadows. There's these clicking noises in the background like a huge old machine coming back to life, its central computer rebooting after years of misuse. The main melody on this intro was played by some droning, tired instrument overlapping itself that I couldn't really identify. It's the most organic sounding thing on the entire album, and as it gives way to the rest of the song, it feels like an old troubled friend dying. Heartbreaking, but it's finally laid to rest after the longest night. It gives way to this arpeggio that brings you back into the song. It drives us forward, it gives us determination to face what's ahead, as distorted percussive plucks enter the mix, alongside a melody played on what I could only describe as a halfway point between a piano and radar blips. The arpeggio slowly leaves the mix as the backing pads and piano blips are left to round the song out. They remind you who you are and what you've achieved, and they remind you to keep going. It might sound like I'm being dramatic, but this song has genuinely meant a lot to me for the past year. I've struggled with depression for at least the past 5 years, and I use music as a way to confront a lot of my personal issues. It's songs like Matsutake, or John Taylor's Month Away, or Motion Picture Soundtrack that have both a soothing effect while also helping me work through a lot of emotions, and Citizen Sleeper as a whole helps with that too. Matsutake brings back memories of Lem, a poor man working himself to the bone on the eye for his daughter Mina, how the Sleeper's appearance gives him a genuine friend to confide with, how even after the worst twists of luck, he still manages to soldier on. It brings back Dragos, who salvage the Sleeper and even gives them a place to stay after they wake up. He makes the Sleeper work for him, yes, but it's out of desperation, and he does show a genuine sympathy and kindness towards them. It brings back Amos, who, despite living in constant pain, still finds love in the art of cooking and shares that love with others, and seeks stories from the interesting people that cross his path. It brings back Rico, the disabled botanist with a sense of wonder when it comes to discovering new organic life forms. All of these characters have endured enough hardships for an entire lifetime, but they keep going on, pursuing the things they love or helping others through their struggle. In a world that stopped caring about them, these people have learned to care for themselves and for others, and their spirit is carried within one single song.